You.
What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Save the Date. I'm one of your hosts, Heath.
I'm Jamie, y'all. And we reacting.
Before we get started, I just wanted to take care of some business. Check us out at Save the Date Now, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Our TikTok has been bubbling over with tons of comments, love, likes, and interest. So if you're on TikTok, check us out. Come by at Save the Date Now, comment on some of our videos, suggest any show topics. Always down to listen to our community.
Since we started talking about that transactional age, the TikTok is lit up. It is Poppington.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been one of the, I think, greater edges or greater opportunities we've had on TikTok where we're able to really resonate with people about why dating sucks and get into some of the pillars of the transactional age. And you've heard it here before, but I'll say it briefly: economic pressure, scarcity mindset, and algorithm culture, which is all centered around spreading and focusing on anger. And that's why so many of us are caught up in the issues of the day and also feeling lost and stuck in a downward spiral. But with that said, let's get into Save the Date Reacts. We have a couple of videos for you today. One about toxicity of dating, another about what's it like to care for a woman. And all these videos, I believe the common thread is that they really do talk about the emotional stability required in order to move forward in a relationship, which is a larger conversation many people are having now that we're all about social emotional wellness and we're all about getting therapy. Some of us are about getting therapy and, not necessarily doing therapy. That actually was my therapist calling, funny enough.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. So now with that said, let's get right into the first video. This is from Ari Lennox, and we're just going to play it and we'll talk about it.
Or toxic energy. So I think there's still some more healing that I need to do, because when I look back on all of these energies, it's a shame I gave them so much time and there were sweet energies that I didn't.
Yeah.
And so now I see those sweet energies getting married and starting families. I'm just like, dang, that probably could have been me if I recognized the security in those individuals at the time. And like now I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely feeling that now. I'm aware that there's something going on. There's something wrong.
What do you think it is that attracts you to like toxic energy?
I think they just seem really exciting at first. The chemistry is incredible. And they don't even always be fine. It's not even that like they're sexy or something. I mean, well, they're sexy, but they don't be the finest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just an energy. It's sometimes it's convenience, what we talk about. A lot of the sweeter energies that I felt like weren't for me. I felt I could see myself falling asleep a little bit on the phone. So I don't know if that's like, if boring is good or not. Like, I'm trying to figure out what that means. Like,
It's the thrill.
yeah.
It's the thrill of it.
Yeah.
Make sure I could get a good look at you for this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you to Ari Lennox and her honesty and her maturity. We often get pigeonholed into who we were as opposed to who we're becoming. And I just want to give the grace and the space for her to be who she's becoming and celebrate her before we just get into anything. Because one of the issues I have with the internet is people will drag up what you said at 14 when you're 30 years old. And they'll do that even when you're 19 and maybe you're 29. And there is no room for growth, for change, for reimagination, for restructuring, or new vision casting about who you are. It's only convenient because your team said it's convenient to change, and everything becomes into this cynical downward spiral. So with that said, let's get right into this. I mean, what was your initial impression of this video? I remember I sent it to you. I was very moved by it. I think I sent it after the last podcast. But what was your initial take on it?
It seems to be a running theme that I've seen with a lot of people. I don't want to just like make it about generations, but I think it's a part of the human experience is that we all kind of have self-destructive behaviors. Sometimes we mistake a strong chemistry for compatibility. And sometimes we love toxicity more than we care to admit it. Like I said, I think it's part of the human experience for all of us to have either behavior or vices that aren't necessarily helping us progress. Some of it is actually can be reductive, but it's like I said, it's part of the human experience, and we're not always optimizing for best decisions and outcomes. I think when like you talked about, if when she was young, I guess in a younger phase of life,
Yeah,
that's what she was choosing to familiarize herself with, this uh being accustomed to that energy that she talked about. And like I said, sometimes it's just, when people say energy don't lie, I feel like it's so misguiding, because clearly this is someone who trafficked in that energy heavily. She was all up in the toxic goo, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's like,
Ooze.
when she obviously years later coming out of that, she's realizing that that really wasn't doing anything for her. There's some, I mean, as she says it, there's more healing that needs to happen, because realizing that I'm even attracted to toxicity is something I know that there's something wrong in me. There's something warped, something askew, something backward, some kind of, faulty programming in my system, that I would even be attracted to something like this. But like I said, bro, I feel like everybody has that.
Yeah, I think it's a stage in life, and it's a stage many of us go to. We often now are getting criticized for our stages in life. So if you have a quote unquote whole phase, or if you have a quote unquote toxicity phase, and people find out about it once you're in your new phase or your evolved phase, then guess what? Take care. Take care in advance.
Which is
And
fair. I think that's
well,
everybody's right too.
yeah. But what I think the issue I have with that is that it is fair. I think the challenge, though, is how many of us are doing that to ourselves with our own evolution versus where we were at. How many of us are dismissing ourselves at the same time we're dismissing someone else? When
Well,
we're
yeah.
saying, are you dismissing yourself? Or I used to have an issue with being in debt. My credit card score was low, and this, that, and the third. And I didn't have it in my 20s, but you still wanted to date. You still wanted validation. You still wanted to be elevated. And now that you're out of that phase, you don't even want anyone to talk about it. So what are you giving someone else that you're asking for yourself? That's
Yeah.
the issue that I have. It's okay to say, it's okay that doesn't work for me. Let me move on. But when it becomes now the subject of a trial by not even jury, a trial by mob, y'all got the pitchforks, y'all got the torches, y'all sharpening up the gallows, y'all making sure, you know what I mean, saying, make sure the razor can cut right through the back of the neck. I think that's where the issue is for me.
Yeah, I mean, the court of public opinion is, it's always full. There's always people in that jury box yelling, and the peanut gallery, you can always have people that got something to say. But I mean, yeah, I feel like if how you were, your past matters to some people. That's why they say body count matters, or things, situations like that, or conversations like that. For some people, your past does matter. That's the reason why good decision making skills, and it's good for you, good to have.
Yeah, but you may not have it in your 20s, especially if you're coming out of your parents' home, a traumatic situation, childhood traumas. There's a lot that goes on that's still informing and being imposed upon you as you make the transition from 17 to 18 to 19 into your early 20s. And you sometimes are just getting the reins of your own life, 25, 26, where you start saying, man, I can't do this no more. And by 27, 28, 29, you're starting to form your own opinion about yourself that turns down the volume of what mama and them said, what daddy and them said. And now you're starting to become a little bit more, hopefully, wiser and self-appreciative. And it's all right if someone hears your past and they say, no, I'm just saying the people who are normally waving that pitchfork, calling for someone to be tarred and feathered, to, have their neck in a noose, are the same people, if you were to drudge up their past, would be begging and pleading for mercy and have a ton of excuses about why they did what they did and how they've changed. And all I'm saying is treat that person or those people the way that you want to be treated about your past. But obviously, you see with a lot of talking heads, a lot of pundits, that's not the case.
Good for me, but not for thee.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think toxicity is just sometimes dating toxic people is a part of people's evolution. Some people stay in it a little longer than others. Some people have a shorter phase. They get in their early 20s, they get out. A lot of people will experiment in college, and then once they're done with college, they stop experimenting. You got some people still experiment in their 40s.
Still got the white lab coat on.
Yeah, the
Bunsen
Bunsen
burner.
beepers. Yeah. The beepers, Bunsen
Still
burners.
got the scrubs and everything. They
Yeah.
in that lab, heavy
Yeah. They look like
experiment.
an episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, nah, for real.
So that's, completely all right. Again, I celebrate her for doing this. And I hope that anybody who's going through a processing phase about their toxicity can get to the other side and say, I'm great. I'm grateful for who I am now.
That I went through this.
I learned my lessons, wouldn't recommend it for other people, or maybe I would recommend it or say that's part of your growth. But I'm really hope people can see me for who I am, as I hope to see people for who they are. Because that's the rub. It just can't be a one-way street. It's got to be two-way communication, two-way respect, and two-way compassion.
And on to the next clip we go.
About fixing them. It's about encouraging them to fix themselves. Jim Rohn said the philosophy should be, I'm going to work on me for you if you work on you for me. And bro, I promise you, like, if that ain't the philosophy, man, I spent a lot of time, bro, and I might not even need to be saying this. I've spent a lot of time, man, trying to fix my wife. Then even from a spiritual standpoint, I've spent a lot of time only looking at my wife as my wife instead of God's daughter.
Ooh.
Like, see, some work ain't for me. So just because I'm your husband and just because we going through this thing and we done made some kids, that's still his daughter. So it's still some daddy work got to be done, not husband work, and vice versa. It's still some daddy work got to be done with me.
Yeah.
That she
Plenty.
can't fix. But if I'm telling you this, bro, on air, don't spend a minute trying to fix your old lady.
I can honestly say I'm not trying to fix her.
Yeah.
This conversation is about one specific thing.
Since you married, I want you to lead this conversation. How do you feel about that?
I think what he proposed, I don't think I know, and what he's proposing is a very powerful statement about allowing yourself to grow first and to focus on who you are and to remember that the person you're with is a human being that is in their own growth cycle as well. And to respect that and to be hands off. Your job is not to calibrate, fix. She's not a car. She's not a Tesla truck that needs to be taken into the shop and upgraded. She's a human being who requires love, concern, compassion, and tenderness. And me and you've talked about this before. So many of us grow up in homes where the way they get you to achieve, whether it's basketball, memorizing verses out of the Bible, doing well at school, is through tough, hard, double down love. You better do it or else. The belt comes out. The incentives come out. Comparison comes out to a cousin who gets straight A's and you getting A's and B pluses. That's not good enough. The ways in which they'll compare you to other people on a team who are achieving and doing better at basketball, for example, and you're not excelling. They, utilize these different modalities or these different approaches to ensure that you're going to be able to adhere to their rules and their program. But they're all rooted in the same type of energy, that hard, harsh, what they call disciplinarian energy. But discipline can also happen through love and affection, through reassurance, through encouragement. The lady who created Spanx talked about how she got comfortable with failure because every week her father would encourage her to come home and say, what did you fail at this week? Because he wanted her to get comfortable with taking risks and experimenting, because that is truly what lies at the core of excellence, is failure in real world application, not in the school brick house, curriculum structure we have, most of us through elementary, middle school, and high school. But in real life, it's about taking risks and expanding your mindset and your knowledge base to learn how to do something very well. And what did she do? She did stand-up comedy for 5 years, failed at it, maybe more than that. Then she spent 5 years just researching Spanx and building it, dropped it on the market, and now she's a billionaire married to another billionaire. But at the core was her comfort at failure. And where did that come from? A loving father. She said she would come home sometimes, and if she didn't tell her father what she failed at, he'd almost be like a little disappointed, because he wanted her to take risks and to find out more about herself and to be herself in the midst of the world. And it came through love and encouragement, not through the belt, not through the demands, not through the comparison. And many of us have that mentality when we get into our marriages. Either you're going to get it right or get it done. I was talking to another married guy, and you get in these arguments and you're like, well, if you don't do X, then or else, then I got some plans. So then what are your plans? And naturally someone gets anxious, they get scared, their life is on the line, their bank accounts are tied to you, you done had children together. And sometimes what you're saying is very real. There needs to be a serious course correction in a direction the marriage is headed. You know, you are gambling too much. You are drinking too much. You are spending too much. You broken the commitment around the budget. And whether that's the emotional budget, the sex budget, the financial budget, you've done things to hurt us and are hindering us from achieving our goals, or at least, most importantly, having resonance, feeling connected together. And we need to address this. But at times, coming down with a hammer doesn't do anything. It actually makes the situation worse, but it's counterintuitive to us because we've been raised in this puritanical, I'm going to drive you down into the ground mentality, because either you're going to do it or I'm going to break you. But imagine we treated our PlayStations like that. Either you turn on or I'm going to break you. Imagine we treated our $100,000 cars like that. Either you turn on or I'm going to break you. No, if something's not working, you take it down to the mechanic. If something's not working, you call PlayStation, you call Sony. Last thing you think about doing is damaging this high-priced electronic in order to get it to work. What sense does that make? You break it into pieces to get it to work? So it's counterintuitive to us to say, no, not the hammer. Let's put on the white glove of encouragement. Let's put on the white gloves of love. Let's put on the white gloves of affection. Let's put on the white gloves of soft talking and collaborating and conversation. It's hard for us to do it. We almost feel like we're failing if we don't go hard. Something is wrong. I'm not doing my job if I'm not putting pressure on you to get it done, to evolve, to grow. And fundamentally, what we are doing is crushing and breaking our marriages, breaking the person and expecting them to operate.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't do that. Again, you wouldn't do that to your car. Yeah. You wouldn't just cancel your trip if you called and said, wait, what's going on with my flight? Man, F the flight, and hang up. No, you going to Puerto Vallarta.
Right.
You going to Cape Verde, Africa. You going to Okinawa. You're going to still get you your flight because you're not going to blow it up so that you're robbed of your experiences.
Yeah.
Then why are you going to blow up your marriage or try to blow up this person and be robbed of their love and the love that you both can create together? And I'm very serious about this because we have this culture of drilling down on people, thinking that's the only way you can force or get someone rather to grow. And I'm not saying you can't keep that in the tuck. That all goes into a diverse set of responses you have to bring to your marriage. You have to. But if that's all you do and you keep that volume at 10, I'm telling you, it's not going to get you anywhere. Like he's saying, there is work for you to do. There's work for her to do. And ideally, one hand washes the other and both hands wash the face. But if that's not happening for you, you think you got to show and brandish the knife. Like your man Crocodile Dundee said, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Your man Uncle Buck showed him the hatchet. R.I.P. John Candy. Out the back. Like you think doing all these things, I got the hatchet, I got the weapon, I got the gun, I got the Desert Eagle, I got the 9mm. This is what we're doing to our spouses to motivate them to grow. And I get we feel pain. I get their time, our spouses and their behaviors and the dynamic of the marriage feels like it's dragging us down into hell. And for some of us, it is dragging us down into hell. And that's a real place and a real feeling for many people who are married right now across the United States and maybe even globally. All I'm saying is the hammer isn't the only solution to get your partner to see what you're experiencing.
Yeah, but like you said, for some people, it's worked in the past. And they just keep going back to that well and drinking from that well, not realizing that, like you said, they're crushing that person. That person might be performing when you get angry. Mm-hmm. That person might be, acquiescing when you start yelling and like you said, bringing the hammer
Threatening.
down. Yeah, talking about you going to leave, or I got plans. I got some plans, or else language, like you said. But after a while, it's going to be like on Friday when he leave. I'll be talking again.
Exactly.
That's how they're going to treat it, because
Yeah.
it's just performed activity or behavior that they do because you're bringing the hammer down.
Yeah, like scared straight programs. Historically, they found that they don't work. They work when you're in the prison.
Right,
That threat is
exactly.
there. But think about it. You get removed from that threat. You're on TV. People making fun of you. You start using the power of television to tell yourself
that I'm really that tough.
Yeah, or it wasn't that bad. And if I got in, they just had me in the bad section.
Yeah.
I heard there's a different, you can PC up, and you just rationalize your way out of it because the pressure is no longer there. You need continuity of programming, support, and services, maybe with a pinch of threats, not a whole, punch of threats. As you said, pinch is a punch, so that you can get to a better standing or a better understanding with this individual, or in this case with this child. Same thing in your marriage. It's not always going to be the threat or the knife you show that's going to get them there. And what he's talking about is like, you got to realize there's a role you play, and you can only control the controllables. And you know what the controllables truly are in a marriage? The person who looks back at you in the mirror every day.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the true controllables in your marriage.
That's it. The grace you decide to show, the understanding you decide to lead with. Yeah. The service you decide to give. Yeah.
And that's a difficult conversation for people to have because we rely on our marriages for emotional stability. I'm not saying they shouldn't provide emotional stability, but many of us have, as Esther Perel says, existential loneliness that we're trying to address. And then we are putting everything on one particular person in our community, our spouse, to resolve it. They have to have the business acumen of Bill Gates. They have to have the peace of the Dalai Lama. They have to have the domestic,
like Claire Huxtable.
Yeah, sexy like Claire Huxtable. The domestic skills of Martha Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
The product mindset of a Mark Zuckerberg. The writing skills of a Toni Morrison. The toughness of a B.A. Baracus, a.k.a. Mr. T. All in one person.
Right.
Yet none of those things do you embody.
Or do they exist in one person?
Or do they exist in one person? I named about 6 people.
Yeah.
6 people, not one person.
Mm-hmm.
And then we expect them to perform to the highest peak level in all those areas. Not like, well, I know how to cook a little bit and do some things in the house like Martha, and I've started a home business on Etsy. And no. I need to see the business acumen. Full Windows 90 with Steve Ballmer dancing on the stage. I need to see you traveling around the world in almost a toga, talking about peace and meditation like the Dalai Lama.
Marketing strategy out the wazoo.
Yeah, I need to see you in the overalls and the chains, hanging out with Face and Murdoch and 18, putting people's heads to bed. Full stop.
Yeah, nobody's got all of that.
You watch a porno, now you want this person to act like a person in a porno. You follow this person on Love is Blind, now you want this person to have the chest and the money of a person of Love is Blind. You're pressing buttons and pulling levers like this person's a machine. And even machines at times don't act like that.
Yeah, they're not even programmed to act like that.
A computer is a computer, which is different than a manufacturing machine that deals with certain types of content or looms. Your computer's going to get on the browser. You think the loom machine's going to get on? Open up your browser.
Yeah.
And get on the internet.
Mm-hmm. You think your computer's talking to Oprah every day? Having conversations with Oprah. Like, no, it's not programmed for that.
Yeah, we just have these fantastical expectations of marriage.
Yeah, and people. Mm-hmm.
And people. We are flawed. You're going to have to deal with that. Your person is flawed. Like I always tell you, 80-20 rule. 80% you like, 20% you don't like. The best thing you'll ever get in your life. And if you have this person, you better hold on to them. Is that someone will, number one, admit they have 20%. They absolutely have 20%. And if they're really introspective, they'll know what their 20% is. But number two, they'll listen to what your understanding of their 20% is. And number three, they'll commit themselves daily, weekly, monthly, and annually to work on that 20% so that they can turn the volume down so it's not as intense and laborious for you to deal with it. If you get a person who can do that, now I didn't say the 20% was going away. I didn't say the 20% was going to magically disappear.
But they're willing to work on it.
They're willing to work on it because they're willing to connect with you. That means they care about you and love you. And they're willing to do anything to make your life and the quality of your life that much better. If you can get a person like that, that's the best. But don't get a person like that and say, well, I can get better. I can get someone who doesn't have 20%, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And on that one, we go to the next video.
Men pursue women when they are not ready for a relationship.
Because I'm a player, and in order to be a player, I got to play a game. So I run game on you, because my goal isn't to catch, to keep. It's to catch and to catch and to catch. I want to collect you. And when you say pursue women, what am I pursuing? A lot of you all are mistaking a man's attention for his intention. You think that just because my attention is going there, I'm pursuing you. No, I'm pursuing that box you got. I'm pursuing that self-esteem because I want to leech it. Because when I drain yours, it makes my cup full. You're going to pour into me well before you pour into you if I run my game right. And here's the thing. Part of my game is making you feel like you're the only woman in the world. And that's why we do this little dance here. I call this manipulation some type of foreplay. Because the better I am to you, quote unquote, the easier you give me what I really want, which is access to you without the commitment. So guess what I'm going to do? Say all the right things. I'm going to be vague. I'm going to be non-committal. And guess what you're going to do? Treat me like your man, even though you are only an option to me. Guess what? Yo, girls, he's so consistent. He send me good morning every day. Yes, I do. Along with girl B, C, D, and E. I pursued you, not for you. I pursued you for me. Sometimes men womanize, not because they want something serious, but it's because they're trying to cover a hole inside their heart that's been there for so long. And the only way I can do that is taking hit after hit after hit after hit of new woman after new woman after new woman. Because when I conquer you, I feel like a man. Let me tell you something. I don't feel like a man at work. They overlook me. They belittle me. I'm not the man when I go out in the city. My car ain't like his or his or his. I'm not respecting my community. But when I get on your body, ooh, I feel like a man. I take hits of you because I'm addicted to the thrill, not because I'm addicted to your heart. So this is why I pursue women when I'm not ready for a relationship. Anybody else?
Wow.
Whew. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Break out the howitzers.
You want to talk about running around at church going up?
You can do the offering right now.
Son, the organ is going crazy right now. Pastor done found his help.
Exactly.
Son.
Help me out here.
Hey. Yeah, no, he was preaching. He was going in. I mean, several different things he was talking about, especially that I don't feel like a man out in the world.
Yeah, because I'm not saying every man operates from that space.
It's not always nefarious.
Yes, now I didn't see nefarious. I didn't see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's not always that. But the other stuff he said on the back end towards his closing.
Like, yo, I need a place where I can feel like a man, and so now listen, I actually do believe that that's part of our natural balancing, man and a woman. So yeah, if I'm not feeling that like a man in all these different places, yes, I would want to come home and feel like a man with my woman. But I think to use them for that validation is problematic. And so I think what he's talking about is that guy who is out there sniping, doing women dirty to get that fulfillment because they want to take something from someone else that they feel like they don't have. That to me is a whole different scenario.
Yes.
Or specific scenario.
Yeah, I agree. You know, me and you had shared that link from Shambudram from Dr. Amy Lepke, who has a book
Talking
called
about that dopamine.
Addiction Nation, and she said she was addicted to romance novels, and she talks about addictions to porn. And she said, we are the most addicted generation. And when I hear him talk about addictions, that's true, because so many of us get into the new of a dating scenario, the new of a situationship, the new of a hookup, the new of a relationship for the high.
Yeah, the novelty of it.
The novelty, the high, the and you know, late nights up on the phone, like you in seventh grade, hiding from your mom.
You hang up first. Yeah.
Falling asleep on the phone, you know, casting out visions like, yo, can you imagine if me and you were just like just packed our bags and we just, and you again, you doing everything like a 12-year-old used to do on the phone in 7th grade.
Duncan Hines.
Yeah, exactly. Glazing hard.
Cupcaking hard.
Yeah, exactly. Betty Crocken.
Yeah, all day
and you
long.
really just trying to get a hit. And then, you know, the realness sets in 6 months later. And I thought you would call me for my birthday. You know, I had plans. I wanted you to meet so-and-so. And now the work begins. And now you say, hey, listen, man.
Hey, man, I didn't sign up.
I didn't sign up for work. I signed up to get high.
Legit. I just came here for my hit. I didn't come here for nothing.
Somebody went to the dope den, and now it's like, now that you got your dope, we need you to do this laundry, bust up these suds.
Right. Yeah. Need you to cut the next brick up. Like, wait a minute now. I didn't come here for that experience.
Oh, I know I did. Yeah, but you got to do this work. Yeah, you in the opium den in the 1800s. All right, now what you need you to do, we need you to get down to the wharf. We need to unpack them boxes. We got a boat that just came in from the UK. What?
Yeah. It's like, that's not what I'm here for.
Some opium, son, and
that's it.
Find my way home. Wake up in my couch tomorrow.
Or as they say, chase the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I came here for, to chase the dragon, sir. These boxes and all this stuff that you got people picking up.
Heading out on the wharf.
Yeah,
you got more opium.
That's all I need to know. If it's more opium down there, then that is where I will be.
Exactly.
Where the opium is.
Exactly. Doing shape up, getting called you. The other rest, you go home. All right, now we need to start lifting this stuff off the tugboat.
He's like,
Easy does it.
Is it time for our opium break? I don't mind helping out if we go get this opium break.
Exactly.
But nah, man, that's real. That is no box like new box. There's something real to that. There is a very real aspect to that. And I think it's not just about, new partners, but just the newness of something. It does give you a hit. And sometimes that is what people become accustomed to or associating with love. Like when it's new and it's fresh and it's lively and it's vibrant and, it makes me feel all these things and I got the butterflies. They're hoping for that feeling to last. But it's like, that's really just a hit.
Yeah, it is. And I'll take it a step further and say, for some men, they pursue when they're not ready. It's because, listen, I remember being in my 20s, working on my abstinence game, wanting to be with somebody, but not having all the money that I needed to make. But you still have the desire to connect with somebody. You still have the desire to key. And not even a manipulative next chick. Mm-hmm. It's just you're looking for your person. If your model for growth is let's build together, then you're looking for your person even when
you may
not be ideally set up for the high achieving success that apparently we're becoming well known now in dating. High value men, high value women. And so some men may not be ready. Then you get in a relationship and maybe you make 50 grand. She makes 80 or 90. You in your 20s, you're young, beginning of your careers. And you think you're ready until you realize you're paying for the dinners. You're going here and it's like, I ain't got it. You got more than I have. And now I'm embarrassed to ask. I'm embarrassed to suggest. I'm embarrassed to talk about sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. I actually want to take care of you, but I can't take care of you. So now the tensions of wanting to connect and be around this woman who I appreciate her mind, body, soul, all of her, with not being able to provide for her. And then maybe I'm inhibited in communicating with her what's really going on with me and the tensions, the waves of tension I'm trying to surf through. And I start not communicating, not picking up the phone, having an attitude. You talk about Valentine's Day, I damn near fly off the handle.
Whew. Go crazy.
because I can't handle the fact that I feel inept around a person that I know I'm ready to be with and want to be with, but I don't have the emotional and communication skills to communicate where I'm at financially. And I'm afraid that if I say to you, I ain't got it, you're going to say, you're right, you ain't got it. You ain't
You ain't
got
got me.
Goodbye.
I'm out of here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When she's getting into traveling and she's talking about going not even to Tulum, like Vietnam. She's talking about going to Burma.
Yeah.
She's talking about going
Senegal.
Senegal.
Mm-hmm. Like traveling.
Latvia. Yeah, Luxembourg.
Yeah, she's talking about travel. Singapore.
Yeah. You thought that was a sandwich. Let me get a number 2, Luxembourg. No. That's actually a country.
That's lox and bagels. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, you thought that was a whole meal. Oh, that's a place where people actually like. Yeah, man, it's in Europe. Oh, my boy yesterday said no, it's lox and bagels, homie. It's lox and bagels. So,
but no, that's real that you say that and
too.
surface that because I think a lot of dudes have been in that space where it's like, yo, I want to, but I'm scared that if I'm transparent about my circumstances, it is gonna be easy come, easy go. She's out of there, and I mean, like, yo, we take for granted or discount the fact that there are some women that are willing to build with you. Yes. A lot of them are not expecting you to be at the finish line. They want the build too, because it's something that signals to them, all right, yo, we got skin in the game.
Yeah.
We have committed to doing this together. This is not just we aren't into outcomes. We're really wed to each other and seeing each other grow and building this relationship. It's not like I'll stay with them if I can see living in the mansion with them. They're not thinking that way. They're actually okay with building with you step by step, piece by piece.
Yeah. I had, Dr. Regina Langley, we talk about her often on this podcast. She's talked about it. You see these young kids go through schools, I would say graduate programs, and they're married, 21, 22, 23. And they'll say, okay, I'll work while you work a part-time job and go through the master's program. When you're done with that, you're going to support me through the MBA. When I'm done with that, I'm going to support you through the PhD. And then next thing you know, you're almost 60 years old, $800,000 in the bank, 2 homes, kids, college paid for, because y'all did it together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who will do it like that. But you got to be willing to do the work. Now, you may get in a situation like that, and if you come in and talking, well, you still got to cook and clean and do laundry, then, brother, you know what? You're going to have a problem. But if you say, hey, look, if that means that's what I got to do to make sure you can study, babe, I just want you to study. I remember being on the train in New York City late at night, and there was 2 women talking, 2 older Caribbean women talking, and one woman was talking about going back to school, and this woman's like, yo, why don't you get your husband to help you? And she just ignored it and kept talking. Yeah, I'm trying to go back to school. She says, why don't you get your husband to help you? She ignored it, and then she goes, my husband helped me when I was in school. He would cook dinner. He would make me soup. I'd be up late. He'd bring the soup to me, and the woman just kept talking, and I got read through the lines. That's your husband. My husband ain't probably even interested.
Mm-hmm. He ain't even interested in me going back to school. Learning? What? I'm supposed to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
Yeah, or whatever the scenario is, he's not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. You can do it on your own. I remember reading the book, The Corporate Mystic, and in the book, he talked about how he ran into this woman who had decided to walk across the United States. And when he met her, she was on her 11th pair of sneakers. And when he sat down and talked to her, found out she was married. She was like, yo, what about your husband? He's like, oh, he decided to stay home. He'd rather stay home and watch TV. Now, that's not a knock against that man. A lot of people don't want to walk across the United States. Yeah, the continental United States. Like, all right, you know what? They got dudes with guns out there or whatever, issues or dangers may be out there. The point is, there are some people who are not going to be supportive. But if you're in a position where you're not where you want to be, you want to build with someone, you're going to have to be supportive. You're going to have to take on roles. You're going to have to be open to renegotiating roles. Maybe roles that are quote unquote considered feminine, such as fill in the blank. Because I'm not going to fill in the blank for you, because I want you to think about what roles you think are feminine or woman roles. And you fill in the blank for yourself. And I'm just saying, whatever those roles are to you, you may have to do them. Some maybe biologically you can't, like breastfeeding. But some that require 2 hands and a good mind, you'll have to do them. And that's what you should be down if you're down to build. So just be open. But I think you have to communicate. But I think there's a lot of men who they want to do it big for their woman and they can't, and they don't know how to say, I ain't got it. Because what does it look like when you get on the group chat? Girl, we going here. Girl, we going there. And sometimes women are doing it by themselves or with their friends. Well, where's Marquise taking you? Blockbuster. Blockbuster ain't even around anymore. We're gonna take you to. They did a pop-up shop.
Red box.
Yeah. We decided to do a nostalgia night. Didn't y'all do that last year? And
Mm.
it's like, it's rough. It's tough. People pleasing and sometimes not even people pleasing, just being around your community, and they're expecting big things out of you. And when you don't start hitting those, that criteria, you don't start hitting those standards of excellence, it could be hard, especially in a relationship.
Yeah. We got a homeboy who's got a paraministry. His name's Chris Burge. He used to say 2 things that are really hard for men to say: I don't have, and I'm unable, or I don't know. 3 things. So yeah, man, sometimes when you got dudes who are in a place where they don't have and they know they don't have, it's hard for them to say and live in that reality with their woman.
And then they say, I don't know how I'm going to get to the have and the able.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they get there one day. And on that note, we move on to the last video.
Be the most beautiful description of marriage I have ever heard.
When you walk down the aisle, and we've kind of changed it in our Western culture, but when you walk down the aisle to a marriage, you're walking to your death. You know what happens at the altar? Sacrifice. There is no covenant without something bleeding. I'm trying to join 2 things together. Some stuff has to die. Some blood has to be shed. You thought you were walking down here for comfort. You're walking down here to be crucified. That's what covenant is. I tell spouses all the time when they're getting married, and my wife and I, we've done counseling for them. And I say, I want to remind you of this. When you stand together before God, you are not making the covenant with your spouse. You're making the covenant with God. Your spouse is the recipient of the covenant. But I promise God that I'm going to be faithful. I promise God that I'm going to keep showing up. I promise God, for better or for worse, for richer, for poor, for sickness or in health. I promise God. I'm not promising you. I'm promised God. You're the recipient of my relationship with God. And if my relationship with God is always right, we gonna be all right.
And I am a devout Catholic, and I'm watching that going, amen. There's a lot of people who will hear that and think that sounds horrible. Who would want to voluntarily be crucified? Who would want to live in a world of self-sacrifice? Who would want to lessen their own desires, wants, needs to prioritize someone else's? But that is exactly the relationship that God has with us. And it is so beautifully mirrored in a wonderful, godly marriage. There is nothing more beautiful than that.
Yeah, I feel like I want to be Funk Master Flex and just let the bombs go off.
Yeah, this is crazy because you just want to run it right back.
Yeah.
Drop a bomb and then run it right back.
Just like Flex used to. Yes, absolutely. Nothing more beautiful than self-sacrifice in marriage, than coming with the mindset of service first. Coming with the mindset of prioritizing someone first. I mean, obviously that is a mindset and a heart that has to be shaped and curated. Almost to make it full circle, what you said earlier is probably kissing a bunch of frogs, going through a bunch of bad scenarios that teach you, I'm not going to be able to have the kind of marriage or long-term relationship that I want if service is not at the bedrock. If service is not at the foundation, if sacrifice is not a driving force and a factor that pushes me to love this person, if it's just going to be about what I get out of this marriage, how happy it makes me getting these boxes checked, the ring, the family, the 2 kids, the 2-car garage, the dog, like if it's just about what I'm going to get out of it, then I should get out of it. Damn it, Flex, with the bombs.
Yeah, I was looking on the media to see if I see it, and I couldn't. They have laughing, they have clapping.
Something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
It's so important, man. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go in.
Yeah. Seriously.
Go right in. Go right in, brother.
I'm going to tell you right now like this. When we talk about our togetherness framework, the togetherness framework is our framework for how people can build loving, compatible, thriving marriages and lives together. We talk about one of the pillars, ego death. And and you're going to have to slay the ego.
Mm.
You're going to have to kill the ego if you want to have a successful marriage. I was thinking today, relationships thrive, relationships operate on rules, and you need rules, but they thrive on grace, mercy, and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you're trying to use the rules in a draconian, dark arts way, the marriage or the relationship will never thrive. But if you keep the rules, but bake in compassion, grace, and love, those rules will still have to be followed, and they still have to be monitored, and they still have to be adhered to. But grace and compassion, when people fall from the ideal, the peak of the rule, allows for the relationship to thrive, because people know that it's more than just them keeping the rule. It's about you keeping them.
Yeah. They'll feel comfortable making mistakes.
Yeah. And they need to make mistakes, as we said earlier with the Spanx lady, because failure is is foundational to achievement.
Yeah.
So the very thing you want is the very thing you have to support by going the opposite way than what you're accustomed to.
Yeah. And I know you're saying that figuratively, but it's really not even the opposite way. It's always failing forward. We're always failing toward.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, going the opposite of being draconian and being a stickler for the rules. And the moment someone messes up, it's all going to fall down.
Yeah. House of Cards.
Yeah. I was going to say like a song on Kanye's first album or Ye's first album. Come on.
Said it all falls down. Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. That service, that ego death, it has to come before. It's like the conductor car on a train. All of that stuff is linked. It's just being driven by all of those things that you just talked about.
Yeah, you have to slash your ego. You have to. And your ego crops up in so many ways. I mean, you watched that Kirk Cameron movie Fireproof, and people thought it was corny, but some people I know watching him was like
super moved,
because he really was about the self-sacrifice of spending time with your person and putting your person and their needs first.
Intentionally, yeah.
Yeah, he said no to the boat so that her parents could be taken care of. I mean, guys, this is real.
That's not an everyday story. We know it's not. We know of marriages that have dissolved because one spouse didn't want to support another spouse's parents in their health journey or trying to recover from something or in their last days. Like, yo, son, all of these tensions that come on a marriage, whether it be externally or internally, we got problems communicating. And the first thing I want to do is lash out and be angry. I got to die to that. Even though I feel justified. Because you hurt me and you did this. Yeah, like you said, the rules are the rules. I have every right to come at you like this and to tongue lash you. But I should be moving in more understanding and, like you said, working towards redemption, leading with grace. It's not easy, but that's the meal of the day. No way around it.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And that's tough.
Yeah.
What you thinking?
I'm just thinking about what is required of you to really ensure your relationship's going to thrive. And people often think that they're entitled to what they should get from their partner. And there should be mutuality there. There should be mutual service there. But sometimes you're going to go through a particular season in your marriage where you are going to have to take the lead and serve. And those ratios may be a little imbalanced, but they may come back later. I once heard from a former boss of mine about the importance of renegotiating roles in a marriage. And at the end of the marriage, if it's really done right and it's really about mutual service, it's going to be,
and that
hands out.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he talked about is like his wife put him through school, his PhD program. But then, he would take care of the kids because he worked in a school. And so he would pick them up, feed them, cook dinner, do laundry, and make sure they were right. She would come home at night from a hardworking job and make sure they were asleep. So the ways in which they helped each other, and they always were open to renegotiating the roles. You have to be open to renegotiating the roles.
Yeah. And them annual check-ins are good too.
Yeah, Norris
even
Workshop.
more frequently if you wanted to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I
So
mean,
you know how to navigate those things.
yeah, and I think people just think it's about them and about how their vision for their life should play out. You're just the turbo booster to the car that I've built called my life, and I need you to play your role in turbo boost.
Yeah, just a prop in a movie that's already written.
Yes, yeah. You say these script, you say these lines.
Just say these lines. Yeah.
Like, when you work with the Coen brothers, apparently they're like, "Nah, you ain't gonna do no improv. Read what's on the script." Now, Coen brothers make great movies,
right?
So,
and maybe there's something to that rigidity with them, but
yes,
obviously
exactly.
when you're dealing with a person,
yes, yeah, this ain't a movie set.
Yeah,
this ain't an
this
Oscar
ain't Warner
nominated
Brothers
film.
Studios right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. You went on set number 2, getting ready to close, getting ready to shoot. Nah, that ain't what it is. You are dealing with another person, and you call them the turbo booster, and they say, "Well, I'm my own car. I'm not a turbo booster." Now where you gonna be? And again, like Jay said, they may not say it with the same kind of anger and bravado you do, but people can be passive aggressive. People know how to, oh, absolutely, master, absolutely. And then as soon as you leave, back over here with my shit. Because you can only sustain that for so long. That arousal, just like sexual arousal, can only last for so long.
Right.
You could be a horny mother ever, but you ain't horny all day long. Now, you have periods where peaking and, throughout the day. Well, some people just peak once and that's it. But that arousal has to go down so it goes back up. Same thing with anger. You throwing things and getting upset and telling people what to do, and then you storm out the house and they back doing what they were going to do. Oh, good. You left the house. Back on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Back on QVC. Back on spending this money. Back on shopping for sneakers. Back on shopping for shoes. Back on making my travel plans with my friends. Back on whatever. Fill in the blank. Because I know how to get off. And no amount of you bearing down on me like you're the warden or, the foreman of the slave plantation is going to make me change who I am. I could perform just as good as the rest. And once that performance is, when I say scene and the lights go off and everyone crowds out to the back and gets their playbill and goes to dinner, that's when I'm really going to turn up.
Can I just say, I think from all of these videos and just from what I know from being alive, man, there's so many people that want to connect. So many people that want to find love, but we aren't educated about the work that it really takes to sustain it once we acquire it, once we do meet somebody who might, like we talked about earlier, let you know that they're down for you and show you that they're willing to build with you. Some of us just haven't been taught properly. You don't have the proper skills and tools to sustain it and maintain it. But I do feel like, just from what I see, man, a lot of people definitely desire either for companionship or real long-term committed relationship. And I think it's a beautiful thing to desire it, but obviously the higher calling is to figure out, in your situation, I'm talking to every individual, to figure out what it takes to actually build a love that's lasting, that's significant to you, that means something to you. And it's something that hopefully reflects in your community, in your sphere of influence. People see what a beautiful love you've created, and they want to take pages from your book and replicate that in their own life.
Absolutely. And on that note,
Save the Date Reacts, y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Again, at Save the Date Now, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, but definitely check out our TikTok. It's percolating. Until next episode, I'm Heath.
I'm Jamie, y'all.
Take care.